Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Michaela Peters. I still have this weird problem with my neck and I really feel like it's starting to get noticeable now, and this is really awkward and embarrassing. So today's video is going to be called Unemployment is a Full-Time Job. And I'm saying that so I can stay on track. So Mondays are my incredibly child-free day. I'm by the air conditioning, so this is going to be fun. As in, my mom usually takes the baby for more or less the full day. And due to that, I can actually get some stuff done. Now, normally, under me not being sick conditions, I would use this time to work on the startup, which I probably should try to allocate some time today, but I might try to make myself take a nap. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm not really good enough at relaxing during the day to take a nap. Also, I could probably just go to bed at 8 p.m. today, considering nothing's going on. And considering it's already 4, that might be a more viable option. Okay, so that's all cool. Yeah, today's a Monday. I guess I'll post this one today. I have one that I made earlier and then I just never posted it because I got busy, whatever. But we're going to talk about this one today, being unemployed is a full-time job. And I'm going to talk about what I did today. So first off, last night I went back to the emergency room for 2 reasons. I started going crazy thinking I had shingles again. How this does not look like shingles. I've had shingles. And then I was like, maybe I gave my baby chickenpox because somebody who I was with yesterday said it looked like my baby was getting chickenpox. We went to the emergency room. They just said she had molluscum. And I was like, thank God, because I really want to get her the chickenpox vaccine. Now I'm going to get another comment about how I shouldn't give my child vaccines. That's fine. I have memories of having chickenpox, and I hated it, and I decided that when I was an adult, the one thing I wanted to do for my child was give them the chickenpox vaccine. So anyway, we are going to the pediatrician later this week. Okay, so the whole thing is I had gone to the doctor again on Friday. I'm taking antibiotics. Nothing is improving. This thing still hurts really badly, and it just kind of feels like it's looking worse, honestly. I'm looking at myself here and it's I feel a lot more visible than it was before, but okay, whatever. I think I have to be friends with this thing because it's probably going to be there for a while. This just really sucks, but that's how life is sometimes. Then I was what if I have cancer? And then the really depressing part about that was I was I don't think I would mind that much because if you have cancer, people will expect less of you because obviously you could die. And then I was all right, that's pretty dark. I have a child. I shouldn't, be okay with that. No, it's just I just thought the idea of getting to chill a little bit more would be fine. Because right now, being unemployed, it's just the thing that I really don't like about being unemployed is I hate going into society and being I'm unemployed. It's very it's not even a humble thing. It's you feel you're not doing your civic duty of working and contributing to society. Yes, I'm raising a child. Well, yeah, but I still feel I should be working because I'm a Western woman. Anyway. All right, there's the air conditioning. Hopefully it doesn't disrupt this. Okay, so I was then referred to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And essentially, there are some things that might need to happen. They may need to go in and drain this thing manually. They may need to take a biopsy. They may need to take a CT scan or take a ultrasound. The complicated thing is some of these things might need to be done with me not continuing to breastfeed, pumping and dumping. That sounds super annoying, but it's fine. I have a stash of milk in my freezer, which she'll drink. But it's just annoying for putting the baby to sleep and stuff. She's going to be what the heck are you doing? Anyway. It's not great. Okay, so one of the biggest issues with ear, nose, and throat doctors, ENTs, is that most of them do not take Medicaid or New Jersey Family Care, which is also a state plan for poor people like me now. I always kind of wanted to know what it was like to be poor, and now I know, and it's it's actually very stressful. It's not I'm so poor, but yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna be evicted. I'm at least 6 months away from being evicted if nothing comes my way. But that's not really a good feeling. So it's pretty interesting. And I just had a call and they're oh God, I'm getting so sick of things that I just say whatever I want, and they're do you get child support? I was nah, I'm still chasing down my baby daddy. I literally said that. I didn't even care. Oh my God. Anyway, this is bad. I mean, that's actually not even entirely true, but for the purposes of what I need to communicate with them, it was the best thing that I could say. Yeah, sometimes you just have to make jokes about the situation because it sucks, and if you think too much about it, you're gonna be depressed. That's actually why some depressed people are like the funniest. All right, so anyway, going back to this. Woke up, called an ENT that the ER referred me to. Originally, the doctor I went to on Friday said they had an ENT on site in the ER. They actually did not. So then they took my blood and said my white blood count was normal. Okay, cool. Apparently that doesn't like rule out any of the stuff that I now think I might have, which could be like mono, which apparently they won't do anything for. TB, I probably don't have TB because I don't have any other symptoms, or cancer. And then I was like, what if I had cancer? And I was like, that'd be like really interesting. And I was like, I'm sure I'd survive, but it would still suck. And then I was like really thinking a lot about like, what if I get cancer? Like, why am I thinking about this? You know, because I want to be prepared for the worst case scenario, which I'm sure it's not that bad. But something like this is pretty weird. I mean, I've had weird things before, but it's been a while, so I'm forgetting. Birth was the last weirdest thing I had, which was about a year ago. So there's that. I called one ENT. They won't take any insurance, and the out-of-pocket was starting at $300. I decided no. I'm getting to a point where I might just wait and see if this turns into an emergency and see if I completely start feeling terrible. And then if that does happen, then I'll go back to the emergency room again. And then they'll have to do something. Like if I get sepsis, which it could turn into that. I don't know. This is all like the really bad things. But I don't feel bad otherwise. It's just that this thing hurts. So I might just need to like chill and do nothing, which is really hard for me. And just like try to sleep and try to relax. And maybe if I do all of that, then things should be okay. And it should resolve itself. I'm going to try that approach now because I don't really like have a casual $300 plus to throw down on a doctor who might tell me nothing's wrong. So we're not going to do that. So I called one ENT, they don't take it. I called another ENT, they don't take it. I called another ENT, they take New Jersey Family Care, but they don't take straight Medicaid, which at this point I am likely going to get on a Medicaid plan for, like, I don't know, until they approve my New Jersey Family Care plan. All right, cool. So that's all good. Next. I feel like really the moral of the story should be like why you should probably not spend a lot of your money traveling and you should have more in savings in case you get laid off and you end up in a bad situation like this. But whatever. Anyway, so one ENT didn't take it. Next ENT didn't take it. Third ENT took the one thing but not the thing that I'm temporarily going to have. Then I called Rutgers because usually the universities are going to like have something that's more friendly towards this stuff. And then it was the answering service, so I didn't get an answer. So I might need to try calling them back. Let's write this on my to-do list. Rutgers ENT. So that's cool because the guy last night at the ER said, no, you do need to go to a specialist. Cool. All right, that's fine. So that all happened. Then my baby has something called molluscum, which I called a pediatrician. They didn't seem to care. But then I realized that this morning I had walked into a federally qualified health center, which are the types of places that you can go when you're poor and don't have money like me these days. And so they then gave me... Oh, I need to fix this bookshelf. Okay, they then gave me an appointment for Thursday morning. But then my baby's pediatrician appointment was 10:30. So then I had moved my baby's pediatrician appointment to Friday at 11:15. So we have that going on. Then I have my other like online meetings on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I have at least like one appointment every day this week. I have currently declined from making any plans with any friends until I'm feeling better because like it's a lot of energy, and it's not that I don't love my friends, but like when I'm feeling completely terrible and trying to act happy, it's just like it's a lot of emotional labor that I can't be doing right now. So I called that. I then had like some sort of issue with like, this is so dumb to explain, but like, you know, a breast pump, they send you free milk bags, and for some reason one of them didn't get processed through insurance. So I called them and I was like, yo, what's up with this? Do you need my insurance card? And then they were like, no, you need to talk to your insurance. And I talked to my insurance and they're like, no, we did cover this claim, but give them this reference number. Then I emailed them my reference number. Okay, cool. Who else did I call? Unemployment. This was another problem that I was having today because the restaurant, I had to kind of like separate from the restaurant in order to be eligible for unemployment. And then they put that I like voluntarily quit. I don't know how I feel about that, because I think it'd be better for there to be like a lack of work thing. I put it that I like I was unable to pick up shifts due to the fact that like they switched systems, which is true. Okay, that is not untrue. I'm not like completely opposed to claiming partial unemployment, but I'm gonna have to like get rehired and stuff, and just at this point with everything that's going on, that's like kind of a lot. But I ended up calling the GM at the restaurant and just explaining to him what was going on with like, I didn't want to return to work because I was applying for FLI, so I wanted to wait till the baby turned 1, and the baby just turned 1, and then he's like, it's fine, you know, rest assured you always have a job here. And I was like, okay, that's great, thank you, I appreciate it, because I was like, I just didn't want things to be weird, like, and you're probably like, what the heck, why are you getting this call? And he's like, no, actually, somebody else was getting the call, it was the HR lady, and he's like, here's her phone number and her email in case you need it. I said, yes, I will take that. Tried to call unemployment, which we're gonna have to do in the morning when the lines aren't so busy, and the issue with calling unemployment became that I couldn't get through to them, but I just want to like clarify with what's going on with that situation. Okay. So I now still have some items for tomorrow, and that's totally fine. I also had to call the New Jersey Family Care line again and be like, I went to the emergency room again, and I still don't have coverage, and like, can you put in another request to speed it up? And she's like, well, if I do, it's going to disrupt this first request. And I was like, and I'm like, what do I do? You know, I have a really big problem. I have to keep going to the doctors. And she's like, well, you can like file for immediate Medicaid, and you can do that at either the hospital. And I was like, would have been nice if the hospital told me this the one or the 2 times I was there. And I was like, don't have insurance, and I'm waiting for my NJ family care application to go through, but apparently these people didn't know that. Oh my god. So then there was they're like, or you can do it at the Federally Qualified Health Center, FQHC, which I had the appointment for on Thursday. So I was like, okay, well, maybe like I could do it there on Thursday. But then I called the charity line, which, yo, this is crazy. I called the charity line, and they were like, your assets are too high. And they're like, do you have more than $15,000 in a like Roth IRA or a, what was the other one? Like a 401k. Like, obviously, yeah, I'm trying to retire at some point in my life. Like, I'm already 30. And they're like, oh, then you can't do it. You can only withdraw funds from these accounts at 59.5 without penalty. And I'm theoretically expected to liquidate money from these accounts to pay for health care bills? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. I actually did ask her this question, and I was like, how does that make sense? And she's like, well, anyway, you're above the total asset limit. Because she's like, do you have stocks, bonds, blah, 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 bank accounts? And I was like, and all these other IRA, 401k, whatever. And I was like, yeah. Is the total above 15,000? Yeah. Okay, then no, you don't qualify for this. But I can expedite your Medicaid application, and it will be done by Friday, and you need to immediately like send in these papers in the mail. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks. So actually, I'm being pretty nonchalant about that, but that was kind of the best news that I received all day. That was like the only thing I feel like I truly accomplished, aside from going back and forth with the breast pump company and the insurance. Oh yeah, I'm still wearing my hospital band again. Like, I just feel like maybe I like wearing these because they make me feel crazier than I am. Cool. Yeah, so I think that might be everything that I did today. And I think at this point, what do I need to do? It's 4 o'clock. I might try to call some more ENT places, actually, until it's 5 o'clock, and then I'll try to maybe relax, but that's not really going to work very well for me. So, I don't know, but it's a really busy Monday on the computer and on the phone. And then, you know, I just like this morning, I was really feeling pretty desperate. I was like, yo, let me just fly back to Finland real quick so that I can just go deal with this over there, because this is awful. I just don't love this situation. It's just really not ideal. So anyway, I guess the point is, being unemployed seems kind of fun and cool, but honestly, if you're just trying to live in America and like not be stressed out about health insurance and not be stressed out about your mortgage, thank God I don't have a car payment, but any of that stuff, like, it's not really good. And like, I don't really know what my next job is going to be like and how any of this is going to work. Should probably just stay in academia, but I don't think I'm going to have enough money if I stay in academia. So, you know, this is just the life of an average working class American. I like to tell this story because it's very true. One time I said to my dad I didn't want to go to college because I didn't want to be rich. And he said, if you go to college, you will not be rich. You will be struggling middle class, just like everybody else. And he was right, and here I am today. So, anyway, even being unemployed in America is a lot of work and a lot of things you have to stay on top of. And as nice as it would be to theoretically never get sick, unfortunately, that's not how things work. And until then, I'm going to try to take it relaxingly, but that's not how I work, so I'll just try to switch to a different form of work that I find more relaxing, like working on the startup. I hate calling around and harassing these people. It's like the bane of my existence, but it's unfortunately very necessary to get ahead of all this stuff. So that's everything that I have for today, and until my next video, whenever that is. Bye.